Hey friends, tonight we journey to a Han Dynasty village, nestled in the ancient heart of China, where rice fields shimmered under dawn's light and lives were shaped by toil, wisdom, and empire. These villages, less a backdrop and more a heartbeat, sustained a dynasty through farmers' sweat and scholars' words. So before you settle in, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. But only if you're drawn to these ancient fields as much as I am. Drop a comment to share where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always intriguing to know who's joining us across the globe. Now, dim the lights. Maybe let a fan hum softly in the background. And let's ease into this journey together. The Han villages didn't begin with a dynasty. They started with a whisper of resilience, daily struggles of a Chinese rice farmer in the Han Dynasty. From 206 BC to 220 AD, the heart of rural life beat in the rice fields of villages, scattered across the fertile plains of the Yellow River and the lush south. Here, in places like the Guangdong region or the Yangtze's banks, rice farmers rose before dawn, their lives woven into the rhythm of seasons and the demands of an empire. Their days were a quiet dance of toil, their hands calloused from plow and sickle, their hopes tied to the harvest under skies that could be kind or cruel. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a farmer in a woven hat, his feet sinking into muddy paddies, the air warm with earth and dew. The life of a Han rice farmer was one of struggle and resilience, each day a testament to endurance. Let's drift into their world, where labor met survival, and every grain held a story. The farmer's day began at first light, the village stirring with the crow of roosters. In a Guangdong village, a farmer named Y might rise from his straw mat in a thatched hut. As archaeological finds of Han homes suggest, you're there, the air cool, his breath visible, the scent of millet porridge faint, his tools wooden plow, iron sickle, and bamboo baskets were simple, crafted by local hands. As tomb inventories from Luoyang note, with his ox, he trudged to the fields, the soil soft underfoot, his labor feeding not just his family, but the empire's granaries. As Sima Qian's records of the grand historian hints, rice farming was grueling, its demands relentless. Planting began in spring, the farmer wading into flooded paddies to sow seedlings, their green tips fragile. As agricultural texts like Fan Shengzhai Shu describe, you're there, the water cold, his legs aching, the air buzzing with flies. Summer brought weeding, his hands pulling stubborn grasses under a scorching sun, sweat mingling with mud. Harvest in autumn was urgent. Sickles flashed to cut stalks before rains. As Han reliefs from Shandong depict, a single failed crop from drought or flood could mean hunger. As village records from Hunan lament, the empire's reach shaped their struggles. Taxes, often a fifth of the harvest, pressed hard, collected by officials for the emperor's coffers. As Han Shu records note, you're there, the grain cart heavy, wise shoulders tense, an official's tally stick clicking. corvée labor pulled farmers from fields. Why might spend a month repairing canals, his crops untended, as inscriptions from Chang'an Shou military drafts loomed. A 3rd century BC edict required service, leaving villages short of hands. As military texts confirm, these burdens, born in silence, tied farmers to the empire's will, their toil its foundation. Nature was both ally and foe. The Yellow River's floods could drown fields. As 2nd century BC annals warn, leaving Y to rebuild dikes with neighbors, their hands blistered. You're there, the mud heavy, their voices low, the river roaring. Droughts were crueler hand records, from hen and note, withered crops, families rationing millet. Pests, like locusts, devoured yields, as Book of Han describes, forcing farmers to burn fields in desperation. These trials, faced with quiet resolve, made each harvest a fragile victory, their hope a flicker in the fields. Community sustained them. Villages shared labor. Guanzhong farmers worked together to plant or harvest, their songs easing the toil. As folk traditions suggest, you're there, the rhythm steady, their laughter soft, the air warm with camaraderie. Elders taught techniques, like rotating crops, passed down through generations. As Fan Shengjai Shu hints, women wove baskets or ground rice, their work vital. As tomb figurines from Jiangsu show, these bonds, woven in sweat, gave farmers strength, their village a shared refuge. Their lives held quiet joys. Festivals, like the Lunar New Year, brought rest. Why might offer rice to ancestors, his prayers simple. As Han altar finds note, you're there, the incense faint, his children laughing, the air festive. A good harvest meant a feast, with rice wine shared among neighbors, as village records from Hubei describe. Yet scarcity lingered. A 2nd century BC drought left Y's family with thin gruel. As annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their struggles meaning, their lives a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their world. A 2nd century BC Guanzhong dig found a buried jar with rice and a jade amulet, its purpose unknown. As archaeological reports note, you're there, the jar cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales recorded in Hanshu speak of spirits guarding fields, their blessings sought by farmers. A Henan inscription, half erased, hints at a lost ritual for rain, its meaning debated. These enigmas, tied to the earth, gave farmers' lives an air of mystery, their toil a quiet prayer. Their legacy fed an empire. Hand farmers' rice filled granaries, sustaining armies and cities. As Sima Kayan notes, you're there, the fields green, wise sickle steady, the air alive with purpose. Modern farmers in the Yangtze region still use Han-era terraces, as UNESCO logs confirm. The daily struggles of a Chinese rice farmer, from Guangzhong's plains to Hunan's rivers, built a dynasty's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to the rise of Emperor Wu, where ambition shaped an empire, his reign a quiet storm. The rise of Emperor Wu in the Han Dynasty, from 141 BC to 87 BC. Emperor Wu, born Liu Qi transformed a fledgling empire into a golden age of power, culture, and conquest. His reign shaping villages and cities alike, from the imperial palace in Chang'an to the distant frontiers. His ambition reshaped the lives of farmers, scholars, and traders. His policies echoing through rice fields and silk road paths. His rise from a young prince to a visionary ruler was a quiet storm of reform and expansion, marked by triumphs and burdens. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a grand hall, silk banners swaying, a young emperor's gaze steady, the air heavy with incense and destiny. Emperor Wu's rise was the empire's heartbeat, his vision a whisper of greatness. Let's drift into his world, where leadership met legacy, and every decree held a story. Liu Qi ascended at 16, his youth belying his resolve. In 141 BC, Chang'an's palace saw him crowned, his advisors wary. As Han Shu records note, "You're there, the throne gleaming, his voice young but firm, the air thick with expectation." Guided by Confucian scholars, he sought to strengthen the Han, his dreams vast. As Sima Qian's records of the grand historian recounts, his father, Emperor Jing, left a stable realm, but Liu Qi envisioned more, a dynasty to rival the heavens, its reach boundless. His reforms reshaped the empire. Wu centralized power, curbing nobles' influence, their lands reclaimed for the throne. As 2nd century BC edicts show, "You're there, a scribe writing decrees, the ink fresh, the air tense with change." He standardized weights and measures, easing trade in villages like Luoyang. As archaeological finds of bronze scales confirm, his salt and iron monopolies filled imperial coffers, but burdened farmers, their taxes heavy. As Book of Han notes, these policies, bold but taxing, wove the empire tighter, its pulse quickening under his hand. Conquest defined his reign. Wu's armies marched north against the Xiongnu nomadic foes, their battles in the Gobi by 121 BC pushing frontiers. As military annals record, "You're there, the campfires glowing, a soldier's armor heavy, the air cold with dust." He sent Zhang Qian to the west, opening the Silk Road by 115 BC, its paths carrying silk to distant lands. As Han Shu describes, these campaigns, costly in lives and grain, brought glory but strained villages, their men drafted, fields untended, as inscriptions from Henan lament. Culture flourished under his gaze. Wu embraced Confucianism, making it state doctrine, its teachings shaping scholars in Chang'an's academies. As 2nd century BC texts note, "You're there, a scholar reciting Confucius, the scroll worn, the air warm with wisdom." He patronized poets like Sima Xiangru, their verses praising the empire. As records of the grand historian show, temples rose for ancestor worship, their altars incense laden. As Luoyang's archaeological finds confirm, these works, vibrant and lasting, gave the Han a soul, their beauty a quiet triumph. His ambition carried costs. Taxes and drafts drained villages. Guangzhong farmers, like Y, gave half their rice, their families hungry. As Book of Han records, you're there, the granary cart heavy, a farmer's sigh soft, the air heavy with burden. Xingnu wars killed thousands, their widows mourning in Shandong villages. As inscriptions note, Wu's extravagance palaces and expeditions sparked unrest. A 2nd century BC rebellion crushed. As annals show, these struggles, borne by the humble, tempered his glory, their weight a silent toll. The emperor's personal life wove into his reign. His empress Y Zifu rose from humble roots, her loyalty shaping court politics. As Han Shu recounts, you're there, the palace quiet, her silk robes soft, the air warm with intrigue. His obsession with immortality led to alchemists, their elixirs failing. As 1st century BC texts lament, these pursuits, blending ambition and mystery, gave Wu's rule a human touch, his dreams a quiet vulnerability. Mysteries marked his era. A 2nd century BC Chang'an dig found a jade seal, its inscription unknown, possibly Wu's. As archaeological reports note, you're there, the seal cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of omens, comets, and floods, interpreted as divine warnings. A hen in bronze, etched with a cryptic poem, hints at a lost prophecy, its meaning debated. These enigmas, tied to his reign, gave Wu's rise an air of mystery, his legacy a quiet puzzle. His impact endured. Wu's Silk Road connected east and west, its paths active centuries later. As UNESCO logs note, you're there, the trade caravan moving, a merchant's step steady, the air alive with exchange. His Confucian reforms shaped China's governance, their echoes in modern ethics. As scholars confirm, Emperor Wu's rise, from Chang'an's throne to distant fields, forged a dynasty's golden age, its echoes whispering in the earth. Now, let's turn to the lost Silk Road tombs, where hidden graves held treasures, their secrets a quiet mystery. Lost Silk Road tombs in the Han Dynasty. From 206 BC to 220 AD, the Silk Road stretched from Chang'an to distant western lands, its paths lined with hidden tombs that cradled the remains of traders, nobles, and forgotten travelers. In regions like Gansu's Dunhuang or Xinjiang's Turfan, these burial sites, carved into desert cliffs or buried beneath shifting sands, held treasures of silk, jade, and secrets of a vibrant trade route lost to time until rediscovered centuries later. These tombs whispered of lives caught between worlds, their stories veiled by the dust of empires. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a desert tomb, its entrance sealed, a faint glint of jade within, the air heavy with sand and mystery. The lost Silk Road tombs were the Han's hidden legacy, their secrets a whisper in the dunes. Let's drift into their world, where burial met journey, and every grave held a story. The Silk Road, opened under Emperor Wu by 115 BC, was a lifeline of trade and tombs. In Gansu, merchants' graves, like those at Jiuquan, held silk bales meant for distant Rome. As 2nd century BC archaeological finds note, you're there, the silk soft, the air dry and still. A trader's legacy sealed in stone. Xinjiang's Lulan tombs, buried by sand, cradled lacquered coffins, their owners unknown. As Han-era digs reveal, these sites, scattered along caravan routes, were sacred to the living, their placement guarding travelers. As Han Shu hints, each tomb, a quiet marker, tied the hand to the world beyond. Tombs were crafted with care, their designs practical yet reverent. Dunhuang's cliff tombs, carved into rock, used wooden beams to brace chambers. As 20th century excavations show, you're there, the chisel's echo faint, a builder's lamp dim, the air thick with dust. In Turfan, pit graves were lined with clay, their walls painted with clouds. As archaeological reports note, some held protective charms. Jade cicadas, found in Gansu, symbolizing rebirth. As records of the grand historian suggests, these structures, hidden in desolate lands, preserved the dead, their craftsmanship a silent devotion. Their contents told tales of trade. A 2nd century BC Jiuquan tomb held silk scrolls, their patterns traded to Parthia. As dig reports confirm, you're there, the fabric faded, a scholar's torch steady, the air heavy with discovery. Lulan's graves yielded bronze mirrors, their designs Persian, hinting at distant exchanges. As Xinjiang finds show, food offerings, rice and millet, sustained spirits. As Han burial texts note, their grains preserved in dry air. These treasures, buried with purpose, linked the Han to the Silk Road's vast web, their value a quiet testament to connection. Persecution and plunder threatened tombs. Bandits roamed Gansu's routes, looting graves for jade. As 2nd century BC book of Han warns, you're there, a tomb's seal broken, the air tense with loss, a guardian's cry faint. Xingnu raids, countered by Wu's armies, scattered tomb builders, leaving some graves unfinished. As military annals note, natural forces were harsher sandstorms buried Turfan's tombs, their locations lost until the 19th century. As excavation logs lament, these threats, relentless and silent, hid the tombs from memory, their secrets guarded by time. Rediscovery brought their stories to light. In 1907, Dunhuang's Magao caves revealed Han-era tombs, their frescoes vibrant. As UNESCO records note, you're there, the paint glowing, and explorers awe fresh, the air cool with wonder. Turfan's 20th century digs uncovered mummies, their silk robes intact. As Xinjiang reports show, some finds puzzled a Lulan tomb held a Roman glass bead, its journey unexplained. As journals note, these discoveries, painstaking and reverent, unveiled the Silk Road's heart, its tombs a bridge to the past. The faithful honored the dead. Families left offerings in Jiuquan graves, clay figurines of horses. As 2nd century BC finds show believing they served in the afterlife. You're there, the figurines small, a mourner's prayer soft, the air warm with with reverence, priests performed rites, their chants echoing Confucian ideals. As Book of Rites hints, later Buddhist monks, arriving by the 2nd century AD, prayed near tombs, their incense blending with Han traditions. As Dunhuang texts note, these rituals, quiet but sacred, wove the dead into the living's hope, their memory a shared bond. Mysteries cloaked the tombs. A 2nd century BC Gansu dig found a tomb with an unmarked bronze vessel, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the metal cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Legends in Han Shu speak of cursed tombs, their spirits guarding treasures, a turfen inscription, half erased, hints at a trader's secret burial, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, buried in sand, gave the tombs an air of mystery, their silence a quiet challenge. Their legacy endures. Dunhuang's tombs, now UNESCO protected, draw scholars and pilgrims, their frescoes vivid, as logs confirm you're there, the chambers intact, a visitor's steps soft, the air heavy with history. The Silk Road's paths, born in Wu's era, still inspire, their routes echoed in modern trade. As historians note, the lost Silk Road tombs, from Gansu's cliffs to Xinjiang sands, held the hand's wandering soul, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to life as a Confucian scholar, where wisdom shaped an empire, its teachings a quiet harmony. Lost Silk Road tombs in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. The Silk Road stretched from Chang'an to distant western lands, its paths lined with hidden tombs that cradled the remains of traders, nobles, and forgotten travelers. In regions like Gansu's Dunhuang or Xinjiang's Turfen, these burial sites, carved into desert cliffs or buried beneath shifting sands, held treasures of silk, jade, and secrets of a vibrant trade route lost to time until rediscovered centuries later. These tombs whispered of lives caught between worlds, their stories veiled by the dust of empires. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a desert tomb, its entrance sealed, a faint glint of jade within, the air heavy with sand and mystery. The lost Silk Road tombs were the hand's hidden legacy, their secrets a whisper in the dunes. Let's drift into their world, where burial met journey, and every grave held a story. The Silk Road, opened under Emperor Wu by 115 BC, was a lifeline of trade and tombs. In Gansu, merchants' graves, like those at Jiuquan, held silk bales meant for distant Rome. As 2nd century BC archaeological finds note, you're there, the silk soft, the air dry and still, a trader's legacy sealed in stone. Xinjiang's Lulan tombs, buried by sand, cradled lacquered coffins, their owners unknown. As Han-era digs reveal, these sites, scattered along caravan routes, were sacred to the living, their placement guarding travelers. As Han Shu hints, each tomb, a quiet marker, tied the hand to the world beyond. Tombs were crafted with care, their designs practical yet reverent. Dunhuang's cliff tombs, carved into rock, used wooden beams to brace chambers, As 20th century excavations show, you're there, the chisels echo faint, a builder's lamp dim, the air thick with dust. In Turfin, pit graves were lined with clay, their walls painted with clouds. As archaeological reports note, some held protective charms, jade cicadas found in Gansu, symbolizing rebirth. As records of the grand historian suggests, these structures, hidden in desolate lands, preserved the dead, their craftsmanship a silent devotion. Their contents told tales of trade. A 2nd century BC Jiuquan tomb held silk scrolls, their patterns traded to Parthia. As dig reports confirm, you're there, the fabric faded, a scholar's torch steady, the air heavy with discovery. Lulan's graves yielded bronze mirrors, their designs Persian, hinting at distant exchanges. As Xinjiang finds show, food offerings, rice and millet, sustained spirits. As Han burial texts note, their grains preserved in dry air. These treasures, buried with purpose, linked the Han to the Silk Road's vast web, their value a quiet testament to connection. Persecution and plunder threatened tombs. Bandits roamed Gansu's routes, looting graves for jade. As 2nd century BC book of Han warns, you're there, a tomb's seal broken, the air tense with loss, a guardian's cry faint. Xingnu raids, countered by Wu's armies, scattered tomb builders, leaving some graves unfinished. As military annals note, natural forces were harsher sandstorms buried Turfin's tombs, their locations lost until the 19th century. As excavation logs lament, these threats, relentless and silent, hid the tombs from memory, their secrets guarded by time. Rediscovery brought their stories to light. In 1907, Dunhuang's Mogao caves revealed Han-era tombs, their frescoes vibrant. As UNESCO records note, you're there, the paint glowing, and explorers awe fresh, the air cool with wonder. Turfin's 20th century digs uncovered mummies, their silk robes intact. As Xinjiang reports show, some finds puzzled a Lulan tomb held a Roman glass bead, its journey unexplained. As journals note, these discoveries, painstaking and reverent, unveiled the Silk Road's heart, its tombs a bridge to the past. The faithful honored the dead. Families left offerings in Jiuquan graves, clay figurines of horses. As 2nd century BC finds show believing they served in the afterlife. You're there, the figurines small, a mourner's prayer soft, the air warm with reverence. Priests performed rites, their chants echoing Confucian ideals. As Book of Rites hints, later Buddhist monks, arriving by the 2nd century AD, prayed near tombs, their incense blending with Han traditions. As Dunhuang texts note, these rituals, quiet but sacred, wove the dead into the living's hope, their memory a shared bond. Mysteries cloaked the tombs. A 2nd century BC Gansu dig found a tomb with an unmarked bronze vessel, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the metal cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Legends in Han Shu speak of cursed tombs, their spirits guarding treasures. A Turfin inscription, half erased, hints at a trader's secret burial. its meaning debated, as reports show. These enigmas, buried in sand, gave the tombs an air of mystery, their silence a quiet challenge. Their legacy endures. Dunhuang's tombs, now UNESCO protected, draw scholars and pilgrims, their frescoes vivid, as logs confirm. You're there, the chambers intact, a visitor's steps soft, the air heavy with history. The Silk Road's paths, born in Wu's era, still inspire. Their routes echoed in modern trade, as historians note. The lost Silk Road tombs, from Gansu's cliffs to Xinjiang's sands, held the hand's wandering soul, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to life as a Confucian scholar, where wisdom shaped an empire, its teachings a quiet harmony. Han village rituals in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Rituals were the heartbeat of village life, weaving faith, community, and tradition into the fabric of rural China. In villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or in regions like Guangdong, farmers, elders, and families gathered to honor ancestors, mark seasons, and seek blessings. Their ceremonies guided by Confucian ideals and ancient customs. These rites, held in homes, fields, or simple altars, brought solace under the empire's weight. Their chants and offerings a quiet defiance of hardship. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a village courtyard, an altar glowing with candlelight, a farmer's prayer soft, the air heavy with incense and earth. Han village rituals were the soul of community, their traditions a whisper of eternity. Let's drift into their world, where worship meant unity, and every rite told a story. Rituals centered on ancestors, binding past and present. In a Guangdong village, families likewise offered rice and wine at home altars, their wooden tablets inscribed with ancestors' names. A 2nd century BC tomb finds note. You're there, the incense curling, a family kneeling, the air warm with reverence. During Qingming, villagers swept graves, their brooms gentle on stone. As Book of Rites describes, these rites, simple yet sacred, honored the dead, ensuring their spirits blessed the living. As Han Shu hints, their continuity a comfort in uncertain times. Seasonal festivals marked the agricultural year. At the Lunar New Year, villages lit lanterns, their glow dancing in the night, as Shandong reliefs depict. You're there, the light soft, laughter rising, the air festive with rice wine. Spring planting brought rituals for fertility. Farmers burned offerings of straw, praying to earth spirits. As Fan Shengjai Shu notes, harvest festivals saw feasts, with millet shared among neighbors. As Hubei village records show, these celebrations, joyful yet earnest, tied villagers to the land, their cycles a quiet rhythm of hope. Confucian ideals shaped their worship. Elders led rites, their chants echoing analects, teaching duty and harmony. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, you're there, an elder's voice steady, villagers listening, the air thick with wisdom. In Luoyang villages, families performed rites for filial piety, offering fruit to parent spirits. As tomb figurines confirm, scholars sometimes joined, their presence lending authority. As records of the grand historian hints, these rituals, rooted in Confucius' teachings, wove moral threads into village life, their lessons a shared strength. The empire's reach touched their rights. Emperor Wu's decrees, post 136 BC, standardized ancestor worship, mandating altars in every village. As Han Shu records, you're there, a new altar gleaming, a farmer's hands careful, the air heavy with duty. Taxes, forced frugality offerings shrank during lean years. As Henan annals lament, military drafts disrupted festivals, leaving villages quiet. As 2nd century BC inscriptions show, these pressures, born in silence, made rituals a quiet act of resilience, their simplicity a shield against hardship. Dangers shadowed their ceremonies. Floods along the Yellow River, noted in 2nd century BC Book of Han, washed away altars, forcing villagers to rebuild with clay. You're there, the mud heavy, their prayers urgent, the air tense with loss. Bandits roaming rural paths stole offerings. As Shandong records note, superstitions added fear. A failed rite could anger spirits. As village tales warn, their omens whispered in the dark. These risks, faced with resolve, gave rituals a fragile sanctity, their hope a flicker in the night. Community sustained their traditions. Women wove ritual cloths, their patterns intricate. As Jiangsu tomb finds show, you're there, the loom humming, their hands steady, the air warm with purpose. Children learned chants, their voices small but eager. As Hubei inscriptions note, neighbors shared costs, rice or candles pooled for festivals. As Hanshu hints, these bonds, forged in ritual, strengthened villages, their unity a quiet refuge against the empire's demands. Mysteries wove through their rites. A 2nd century BC Guanzhong dig found a clay tablet with an unknown prayer. Its words faded. As journals note, you're there, the tablet cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of spirits appearing during rites, their forms fleeting. A Henan altar etched with cryptic symbols hints at a lost fertility rite, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas tied to faith gave rituals an air of mystery, their silence a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Confucian rituals shaped Chinese culture, their echoes in modern festivals. As scholars note, you're there, a village altar glowing, a family's prayer soft, the air alive with tradition. UNESCO protected sites, like Henan's hand graves, preserve ritual artifacts, their stories vivid. Han village rituals, from Guanzhong's fields to the Yangtze's banks, wove faith into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to the rise of Emperor Wu, where ambition forged a dynasty, its vision a quiet storm. Han village artisans in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Artisans in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, and regions like Guanzhong or Shandong were the quiet creators of beauty and utility. their hands shaping the tools, pottery, and textiles that sustained daily life in settlements near Luoyang or rural hamlets by the Wai River. These craftsmen, potters, weavers, and metalworkers labored in modest workshops, their skills vital to farmers, traders, and the empire's needs. Their work, often under the shadow of imperial taxes and demands, blended practicality with artistry, leaving traces in tombs and markets. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a village workshop, a potter's wheel humming softly, the glow of a kiln faint, the air heavy with clay and effort. Han village artisans were the empire's quiet craftsmen, their creations a whisper of skill. Let's drift into their world, where labor met beauty, and every piece told a story. Artisans were the backbone of village life, their work essential yet humble. In a Guangzhong village, a potter named Lai might shape clay into jars for rice storage, his hands steady. As 2nd century BC tomb finds note, you're there, the wheel spinning, the clay cool, the air thick with damp earth. Weavers, often women, wove hemp and silk in Shandong homes, their looms clacking rhythmically. As archaeological textiles show, blacksmiths in Henan forged iron sickles, their hammers ringing. As Han-era tools from Luoyang confirm, these artisans, skilled but uncelebrated, met village needs, their craft a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. As Han Shu hints, their workshops were simple, their tools time-worn. Potters used wooden wheels and bamboo scrapers, their kilns fired with straw. As Shandong excavations reveal, you're there, the fire crackling, Lai's hands shaping a vase, the air warm with smoke. Weavers worked on upright looms, their threads dyed with plant hues. As Jiangsu tomb finds show, blacksmiths hammered at forges, their iron sourced from local mines. As Book of Han notes, these tools, crude but effective, turned raw materials into goods, their simplicity a testament to ingenuity under the empire's constraints. Their craft served both village and empire. Potters made jars for farmers' grain, their wares traded in Luoyang markets. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, you're there, the jars stacked, a merchant's voice low, the air bustling with trade. Weavers produced silk for Silk Road caravans, their bolts prized in distant Parthia. As records of the grand historian describes, blacksmiths crafted plows for imperial granaries, their tools taxed heavily. As Henan records show, these creations, practical yet artful, linked villages to the empire, their work a quiet pulse of prosperity. The empire's demands weighed heavily. Emperor Wu's monopolies, post 136 BC, controlled iron and salt, forcing blacksmiths to pay steep taxes. As Han Shu records, you're there, a smith's hammer slowing, his coins scarce, the air tense with duty. Corvée labor pulled artisans from workshops. Lai might spend weeks building canals, his kiln cold. As Guangzhong inscriptions lament, military drafts took young craftsmen, leaving villages short-handed. As 2nd century BC annals note, these burdens, born in silence, made artistry a quiet act of endurance, their work a fragile spark, Nature and hardship tested their skill. Floods along the Yangtze ruined clay stores, forcing potters to salvage scraps. As Hubei records note, "You're there, the mud deep, lies hands sifting, the air heavy with loss. Fires, sparked by dry straw, could destroy looms." As Shandong tales warn, bandits stole, whereas a 2nd century BC Henan chronicle tells of a weaver's silk taken, her family destitute. As annals lament, these trials, faced with resolve, gave their craft a somber weight, their creations a costly triumph. Community sustained their efforts. Villages shared resources, clay or wool pooled for festivals. As Jiangsu finds show, "You're there, neighbors bartering, their laughter soft, the air warm with unity." Elders taught techniques like glazing pottery, passed down through kin. As Fan Shengjai Shu hints, women wove together, their songs easing the work. As tomb reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in labor, strengthened artisans, their workshops a shared refuge against the empire's demands. Their lives held quiet joys. A well-made jar might earn lie a farmer's rice wine, shared under lantern light. As Hubei records note, "You're there, the cup warm, their voices calm, the air festive." Markets brought pride. Shandong weavers saw their silks admired. As 2nd century BC inscriptions show, yet scarcity lingered. A failed kiln could mean hunger. As Henan annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their craft a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their work. A 2nd century BC Guanzhong dig found a clay figurine with an unknown symbol, its purpose lost. As journals note, "You're there, the figurine still, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered." Tales in Han Shu speak of spirits guiding craftsmen, their blessings sought in workshops. A Shandong bronze tool, etched with cryptic marks, hints at a lost ritual, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their craft, gave artisans' lives an air of mystery, their work a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Hand pottery and silk, found in Dunhuang tombs, inspire modern artisans. As UNESCO logs confirm, "You're there, a vase intact, a visitor's all soft, the air alive with history." Their techniques glazing, weaving shape China's crafts today. As scholars note, Han village artisans, from Guanzhong's kilns to Shandong's looms, wove beauty into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village markets, where trade bound communities, its bustle, a quiet vitality. Han village markets in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Village markets were the lively pulse of rural life, bustling hubs where farmers, artisans, and traders met along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or in regions like Shandong and Henan, in villages near Luoyang, or small hamlets by the Wai River. These markets thrived with the exchange of rice, silk, pottery, and news. Their stalls a tapestry of community and commerce. Under Emperor Wu's reforms, markets grew, linking villages to the Silk Road and the empire's heart. Though taxes and regulations cast shadows over their vibrancy. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a market square, stalls laden with grain, voices haggling softly, the air heavy with dust and opportunity. Han village markets were the empire's quiet crossroads, their trade a whisper of connection. Let's drift into their world, where barter met bustle, and every exchange told a story. Markets were the village's heartbeat, drawing all walks of life. In a Shandong village, farmers like Y brought rice to trade for salt, their baskets heavy, as 2nd century BC inscriptions note. You're there, the grain spilling, his voice low, the air warm with morning dew. Artisans displayed pottery jars, glazed with earthy hues, as Luoyang tomb finds show. Traders from Chang'an offered silk, their bolts shimmering, destined for distant markets. As Hanshu records, these gatherings, weekly or seasonal, wove communities together, their bustle a quiet rhythm of survival. Stalls were simple, their wares practical. Wooden tables, shaded by reed mats, held clay jars, hemp cloth, and iron tools. As Henan excavations reveal, you're there, the mats rustling, a vendor's hands busy, the air thick with barter. Food stalls offered millet cakes or dried fish, their scents mingling, as Hubei reliefs depict. Coins, bronze Wubin introduced by Wu, clinked in trades, though barter rice for cloth remained common. As records of the grand historian notes, these wares, humble yet vital, fueled village life, their exchange a testament to ingenuity. The empire shaped their flow. Wu's 136 BC reforms standardized weights, ensuring fair trade in Guangzhou markets. As bronze scales from archaeological finds confirm, you're there, a scale balancing, a merchant's nod calm, the air steady with trust. Taxes, often 1/10 of goods. Pressed vendors, Shandong records, note farmers selling extra rice to pay. As Book of Han laments, imperial agents patrolled, their tallies strict. As Henan inscriptions show, these rules, rigid but unifying, tied markets to the empire, their commerce a quiet thread in its web. Challenges tested their vibrancy. Floods along the Yangtze halted trade, leaving stalls empty. As 2nd century BC annals warn, you're there, the square silent, a vendor's cart stuck, the air heavy with mud. Bandits plagued rural paths. A Henan chronicle tells of a trader robbed of silk, his family destitute. As records note, droughts shrank harvests, forcing farmers to barter tools. As Hubei inscriptions lament, these hardships, faced with resilience, gave markets a fragile energy, their bustle a hard-won spark. Community fueled their spirit. Neighbors shared stalls, like Shandong women weaving cloth side by side, their laughter soft. As tomb reliefs show, you're there, the looms humming, their voices warm, the air alive with camaraderie. Elders settled disputes over short waits, their rulings fair. As Hanshu hints, children ran through crowds, carrying baskets for parents. As Jiangsu finds note, these bonds, forged in trade, strengthened villages, their markets a shared refuge against the empire's weight. Joy flickered in the bustle. Festivals, like the Lantern Festival, turned markets' festive lanterns glowed, rice wine flowed. As Shandong records note, you're there, the lights dancing. A farmer's smile broad, the air festive. A good trade might earn a potter, a meal of dumplings, shared with neighbors. As Hubei tales describe, yet scarcity loomed, a poor harvest left stalls bare. As Henan annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave markets life, their energy a gentle rhythm. Mysteries hid in their corners. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bronze coin with an unknown mark, its origin lost. As journals note, you're there, the coin cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of spirits guarding market paths, their blessings sought by traders. A Shandong stall, etched with cryptic symbols, hints at a lost trade ritual, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, woven into commerce, gave markets an air of mystery, their secrets a quiet puzzle. Their legacy lives on. Hand market practices, like standardized weights, shape modern Chinese trade. As scholars note, you're there, a market thriving, a vendor's call soft, the air alive with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve market artifacts, their stories vivid. Han village markets, from Shandong's squares to Guangzhong's paths, wove connection into the empire's soul, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village healers, where care soothed suffering, its remedies a quiet mercy. Han village healers in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Healers in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guangzhong and Shandong, were quiet bearers of mercy, easing suffering with herbs, prayers, and ancient wisdom. In hamlets near Luoyang or rural settlements by the Wai River, these practitioners, elders, midwives, and sometimes Confucian scholars, treated farmers and families, their remedies blending tradition with faith under the empire's watchful gaze. Their work, often in modest huts or sacred groves, brought solace to communities strained by toil and taxes. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a healer's hut, a mortar grinding herbs, a faint chant rising, the air heavy with earth and healing. Han village healers were the empire's quiet comforters, their care a whisper of hope. Let's drift into their world, where remedies met resilience, and every cure told a story. Healers were vital to village life, their knowledge a lifeline. In a Shandong village, an elder named Mei might brew ginseng tea for a farmer's fever, her hands steady. As 2nd century BC tomb finds of clay mortars note, you're there, the steam rising, her voice soft, the air warm with herbs. Midwives in Henan delivered babies, their chants invoking ancestors. As Hubei inscriptions show, some healers, trained in Confucian ethics, used texts like Huangdi, Nijing to guide treatments. As Hanshu hints, these practitioners, humble but trusted, soothed village ailments, their care a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. Their remedies blended nature and ritual. Herbs like mugwort or licorice, gathered from hillsides, treated coughs or wounds. As Luoyang's Han-era apothecary finds confirm, you're there, the herbs pungent, maize mortar grinding, the air thick with their scent, acupuncture, using bronze needles, eased pain, as records of the grand historian notes, offerings to spirits rice, or jade at altars sought divine aid. As Shandong tomb reliefs depict, these practices, rooted in balance, brought healing. Their simplicity, a necessity under the empire's constraints. The empire's reach shaped their work. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms taxed herbal markets, raising costs for healers. As Book of Han records, you're there, may bartering rice for herbs, her pouch light, the air tense with scarcity. Imperial physicians in Chang'an set standards, their texts reaching villages. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, military drafts took young healers, leaving elders like Mei overburdened. As Henan annals lament, these pressures, born in silence, made healing a quiet act of defiance, their remedies a fragile light. Nature and hardship tested their skill. Floods along the Yangtze washed away herb patches, forcing healers to trek far. As Hubei records note, you're there, the path muddy, maize basket heavy, the air damp with rain. Plagues, like a 2nd century BC outbreak in Shandong, overwhelmed healers, their patience lost. As Han Shu warns, superstitions, added weight-failed cures, were blamed on angered spirits. As village tales lament, these trials, faced with resolve, gave their work a somber sanctity, their cures a hard-won gift. Community relied on their care. Farmers sought Mei for salves, their trust absolute. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, you're there, her hands gentle, a farmer's relief soft, the air warm with gratitude. Midwives taught women to prepare tonics, their knowledge shared. As Hubei tomb finds show, scholars sometimes aided, their Confucian prayers blessing sects. As records of the grand historian hints, these bonds, forged in care, strengthened villages, their healers a shared hope against suffering. Their lives held quiet joys, a successful cure might earn May a farmer's rice wine, shared by a hearth. As Henan records note, you're there, the cup warm, her smile faint, the air festive. Festivals like Qingming saw healers lead prayers, their herbs offered to ancestors. As Shandong reliefs depict, yet scarcity lingered, a poor harvest meant fewer herbs. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their care a gentle rhythm. Mysteries wove through their remedies. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bronze needle with an unknown mark, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the needle cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in Han Shu speak of healers guided by dreams, their cures divine. A Henan clay jar etched with cryptic symbols, hints at a lost tonic, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their craft, gave healers' lives an air of mystery, their remedies a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han healing practices, like acupuncture, shape modern Chinese medicine. As scholars note, you're there, a healer's hut preserved, a visitor's awe soft, the air alive with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Shandong's Han relics, hold their tools, their stories vivid. Han village healers, from Guanzhong's groves to Henan's huts, wove mercy into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village children, where youth carried hope, their lives a quiet promise. Han village children in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Children in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Shandong and Guangzhong, were the quiet promise of the future. Their lives shaped by family, labor, and fleeting moments of play in hamlets near Luoyang or rural settlements by the Wai River. These young ones helped in fields, learned Confucian virtues, or ran through dusty paths, their presence a spark of hope amid the empire's demands. Their days, filled with small tasks and simple joys, left traces in tombs and tales, their resilience a testament to community. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a child in a village courtyard, a bamboo kite soaring, their laughter soft, the air heavy with dust and innocence. Han village children were the empire's quiet hope, their lives a whisper of tomorrow. Let's drift into their world, where youth met duty, and every moment told a story. Children were woven into village life, their roles vital yet tender. In a Guanzhong hamlet, a boy like Liang might carry water to rice fields, his small bucket heavy. As 2nd century BC tomb figurines note, you're there, the water splashing, his steps careful, the air warm with morning dew. Girls in Shandong wove hemp with mothers, their fingers learning the loom. As Jiangsu textile finds show, some chosen for study recited Confucian texts, their voices small but eager. As Hanshu hints, these tasks, humble but essential, tied children to the village, their efforts a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. Their days balanced work and play. Mornings saw Liang fetching firewood, his arms full, as Henan inscriptions depict. You're there, the twigs snapping, his breath quick, the air cool with dawn. Afternoons might bring games, kites flown in fields, or clay tops spun in courtyards. As Shandong tomb toys show, girls helped grind millet, their chatter mingling with the grindstone's hum. As Hubei reliefs note, these moments, blending duty with joy, gave children a gentle rhythm, their lives a balance of labor and laughter. The empire's weight touched them early. Taxes forced families to send children to fields, reducing playtime. As Book of Han records, you're there, Liang's hands muddy, his mother's voice urgent, the air tense with need. Military drafts took older siblings, leaving young ones like Liang to fill gaps. As 2nd century BC annals note, Emperor Wu's reforms, post 136 BC, pushed Confucian schooling, but only wealthy children studied. As records of the grand historian hints, these burdens, born in small hands, made childhood a quiet act of resilience, their efforts a fragile spark. Nature and hardship tested their lives. Floods along the Yangtze swept away homes, leaving children like Liang to salvage belongings. As as Hubei records lament. You're there, the water cold, his steps faltering, the air heavy with loss, plagues, like a 2nd century BC outbreak in Shandong, took young lives, their graves small. As Han Shu warns, hunger followed poor harvests, forcing children to eat wild roots. As Henan inscriptions show, these trials, faced with quiet courage, gave their lives a somber weight, their survival a tender victory. Community nurtured their growth. Elders taught children songs of harvests, their voices guiding. As Shandong folk tales note, you're there, the chants soft, Liang listening, the air warm with wisdom. Mothers wove clothes for their young, their needles swift. As Jiangsu tomb textiles show, neighbors shared food during festivals, ensuring no child went hungry. As Hubei records note, these bonds, forged in care, strengthened villages, their children a shared promise against hardship. Their joys were simple but bright. Lunar New Year brought firecrackers, their pops delighting Liang. As Shandong reliefs depict, you're there, the sparks flying, his eyes wide, the air festive with laughter. A kind farmer might gift a clay whistle, its tune shrill but cherished. As Henan tomb finds show, yet scarcity lingered. A failed crop meant no sweets. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but precious, gave childhood light, their play a gentle melody. Mysteries marked their world. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a child's clay toy with an unknown symbol, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the toy still, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of children blessed by spirits, their dreams guiding families. A Shandong grave etched with a cryptic verse hints at a lost child's prayer, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas tied to youth gave children's lives an air of mystery, their innocence a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han childhoods shaped family traditions, their echoes in modern Chinese culture. As scholars note, you're there, a village courtyard alive, a child's kite soaring, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve their toys, their stories vivid. Han village children, from Guanzhong's fields to Shandong's paths, carried the empire's hope, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village elders, where wisdom guided communities, their counsel a quiet strength. Han village elders in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Elders in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet pillars of their communities, their wisdom guiding families and fields through the seasons. In hamlets near Luoyang or rural settlements by the Wai River, these revered figures, grandparents, retired farmers, or former scholars, settled disputes, taught traditions, and led rituals. Their counsel, rooted in Confucian values and years of experience, their presence, weathered yet steady, offered stability amid the empire's demands and nature's whims. As you settle into the night's calm, picture an elder in a village courtyard, his voice low, a bamboo cane at his side, the air heavy with incense and reverence. Han village elders were the empire's quiet anchors, their guidance a whisper of harmony. Let's drift into their world, where wisdom met duty, and every story told a lesson. Elders were the heart of village life, their knowledge a treasure. In a Shandong hamlet, an elder like old Zhang might sit under a willow, sharing tales of past harvests. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, "You're there, the shade cool, his words soft, the air warm with memory." In Guangzhong, elders advised on planting, their methods honed over decades. As Fan Shengzhai Shu hints, some once Confucian students recited analects to children, their voices steady. As Henan tomb reliefs show, these figures, respected and consulted, wove tradition into daily life, their counsel a quiet strength. Their roles were varied, their influence deep. Elders settled disputes over land or water, their judgments fair. As Shandong records note, "You're there, Zhang's hand raised, farmers nodding, the air calm with resolution." They led ancestor rites, offering rice at altars, their prayers guiding spirits. As Book of Rites describes, in Henan villages, elders taught young farmers to read stars for planting, their lore vital. As Han Shu hints, these duties, blending wisdom with care, made elders the village's compass, their guidance a beacon in uncertain times. The empire's reach touched their lives. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms, emphasizing Confucian ethics, elevated elders as moral guides, their advice sought by officials. As records of the grand historian notes, "You're there, an official bowing, Zhang's voice firm, the air thick with duty." Taxes strained families, forcing elders to ration rice. As Hubei annals lament, military drafts took their grandsons, leaving elders to tend fields. As 2nd century BC inscriptions show, these burdens, borne with quiet resolve, made their role a steady act of endurance, their wisdom a fragile light. Nature challenged their guidance. Floods along the Yangtze swept away homes, forcing elders like Zhang to lead rebuilding, their hands trembling. As Hubei records note, "You're there, the mud deep, his cane steady, the air heavy with loss." Droughts tested their lore. A 2nd century BC Shandong famine left Zhang, advising wild roots for food. As Book of Han warns, bandits threaten safety, their raids disrupting rituals. As Henan chronicles lament, these trials, faced with patience, gave their counsel a somber weight, their leadership a hard-won gift. Community relied on their presence. Families sought Zhang for marriage blessings, his words binding unions. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, "You're there, his voice soft, a couple kneeling, the air warm with hope." Women learned weaving from elder women, their techniques passed down. As Shandong tomb finds show, during festivals like Qingming, elders led prayers, their chants uniting villagers. As Hubei reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in respect, strengthened communities, their elders a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys. Lunar New Year saw Zhang gifted millet cakes, his smile broad. As Shandong records note, "You're there, the cakes warm, his laughter faint, the air festive with firecrackers, telling stories to children, their eyes wide, brought warmth. As Henan tomb figurines show, yet age brought frailty elders, often ate less, saving food for young ones. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, simple but cherished, gave their lives meaning, their wisdom a gentle rhythm. Mysteries wove through their stories. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bamboo tablet with an elder's unknown prayer. Its words faded, as journals note. You're there, the tablet cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in hand shoe speak of elders dreaming of ancestors, their visions guiding villages. A Shandong stone etched with cryptic symbols hints at a lost ritual, its meaning debated, as reports show. These enigmas, tied to their wisdom, gave elders' lives an air of mystery, their counsel a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Confucian respect for elders shapes modern Chinese culture. As scholars note, you're there, a village courtyard alive, an elder's voice soft, the air vibrant with tradition. UNESCO protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve their artifacts, their stories vivid. Han village elders, from Guanzhong's willows to Shandong's paths, guided the empire's soul, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now, let's turn to Han village festivals, where celebrations bound communities, their joy a quiet spark. Han village festivals in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Festivals were the vibrant pulse of village life, bringing farmers, artisans, and children together in hamlets along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Shandong and Guanzhong. In villages near Luoyang or by the Wai River. These celebrations, Lunar New Year, Qingming, or harvest feasts, marked seasons, honored ancestors, and sparked joy amid the empire's demands. Guided by Confucian rituals and ancient customs, festivals filled courtyards with lanterns, songs, and shared rice wine, their warmth a respite from toil. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a village square, lanterns glowing softly, a farmer's chant rising, the air heavy with incense and festivity. Han village festivals were the empire's quiet joys, their celebrations a whisper of unity. Let's drift into their world, where ritual met revelry, and every feast told a story. Festivals were the village's heartbeat, uniting all in celebration. During Lunar New Year in Shandong, families lit lanterns, their paper glowing red, as 2nd century BC tomb reliefs depict. You're there, the light dancing, laughter soft, the air warm with firecracker smoke. Qingming saw villagers sweep graves, their brooms brushing stone, honoring ancestors. As Book of Rites notes, harvest festivals in Guanzhong brought feasts, rice and millet shared under starlight. As Hubei records show, these gatherings, sacred yet joyful, wove communities together, their spirit a quiet spark. Preparations were a communal effort. Women in Henan wove festival banners, their threads dyed with indigo. As Jiangsu textile finds note, you're there, the loom humming, their hands swift, the air thick with dye. wood carved with clouds. As Shandong inscriptions show, children gathered straw for bonfires, their arms full. As Hubei tomb figurines depict, these tasks, shared by all, filled villages with purpose, their preparations a gentle rhythm. As Han Shu hints, Confucian ideals shaped their rites. Elders led kingdoming prayers, their chants of filial piety echoing analects. As 2nd century BC records note, "You're there," an elder's voice steady, villagers kneeling, the air warm with reverence. Lunar New Year rituals honored harmony, with rice offered to spirits. As records of the grand historian describes, scholars sometimes joined, their presence lending solemnity. As Henan inscriptions show, these rites, rooted in Confucius teachings, gave festivals depth, their traditions a quiet anchor. The empire's reach tempered their joy. Emperor Wu's taxes, post 136 BC, forced frugal feasts, with rice wine rationed. As Book of Han laments, "You're there, a cup half full, a farmer's sigh soft, the air heavy with duty." Military drafts stole young men, leaving festivals quieter. As Shandong annals note, imperial decrees mandated ancestor rites, their rule strict. As 2nd century BC inscriptions show, these pressures, born in silence, made festivals a quiet act of defiance, their celebrations a fragile light. Nature tested their spirit. Floods along the Yangtze delayed kingdoming, forcing villagers to pray in mud. As Hubei records note, "You're there, the rain falling," their chants urgent, the air damp with resolve. Droughts shrank harvest feasts, leaving only millet gruel. As Henan annals lament, storms could douse lanterns, dimming Lunar New Year. As Shandong tales warn, these challenges, faced with unity, gave festivals a somber glow, their joy a hard-won gift. Community fueled their warmth. Neighbors shared rice for feasts, their pots steaming together. As Jiangsu records note, "You're there, the steam rising, their voices warm, the air alive with camaraderie." Children danced with kites, their laughter bright. As Hubei tomb finds show, artisans gifted clay figurines, their offerings cherished. As Shandong reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in festivity, strengthened villages, their celebrations a shared refuge against hardship. Their joys were vivid but fleeting. Lunar New Year firecrackers popped, delighting all. As Shandong records note, "You're there, the sparks flying, a child's eyes wide, the air festive with laughter." Harvest feasts brought rice, wine, and songs, their melodies lingering. As Hubei inscriptions show, yet scarcity loomed. A poor crop meant no sweets. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, bright but brief, gave festivals life, their warmth a gentle melody. Mysteries marked their rites. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a festival altar with an unknown symbol, its purpose lost. As journals note, "You're there, the stone cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered." Tales in Han Shu speak of spirits joining feasts, their presence felt in dreams. A Henan banner etched with cryptic patterns hints at a lost rite, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas tied to celebration, gave festivals an air of mystery, their joy a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Hand festivals, like Qingming, shape modern Chinese traditions. As scholars note, you're there, a courtyard glowing, a family's chant soft, the air alive with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Henin's Han relics, preserve festival artifacts, their stories vivid. Han village festivals, from Shandong squares to Guanzhong's fields, wove joy into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village women, where strength sustained families, their labor a quiet power. Han village women in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Women in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet strength of their communities, their labor and care sustaining families and fields. In hamlets near Luoyang or rural settlements by the Wai River, these women mothers, daughters, and midwives wove textiles, cooked meals, and nurtured children, their efforts weaving the fabric of village life under the empire's weight. Their days, filled with tireless tasks and quiet resilience, left traces in tombs and tales, their contributions vital, yet often unsung. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a woman in a village hut, her loom humming softly, a pot simmering, the air heavy with thread and warmth. Han village women were the empire's quiet power, their work a whisper of endurance. Let's drift into their world, where labor met love, and every task told a story. Women were the backbone of village life, their roles essential, yet humble. In a Shandong hamlet, a woman like May might weave hemp cloth at dawn, her fingers deft. As 2nd century BC textile finds note, you're there, the loom clacking, her breath steady, the air cool with morning dew. In Guanzhong, mothers ground millet for porridge, their stones scraping. As Hubei tomb reliefs show, midwives delivered babies, their hands gentle. As Henin inscriptions hint, these women, tireless and skilled, held families together, their work a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. As Han Shu suggests, their tasks were relentless, their days long. May might rise early to fetch water from a stream, her clay jar heavy. As Shandong archaeological finds depict, you're there, the water splashing, her steps careful, the air damp with mist. By midday, she wove or cooked, her hearth glowing. As Jiangsu tomb figurines note, evenings saw her mending clothes or teaching daughters to spin, their chatter soft. As Book of Rites hints, these labors, blending care with craft, filled village homes with warmth, their rhythm a gentle pulse under the empire's demands. The empire's reach shaped their lives. Emperor Wu's taxes, post 136 BC, forced women to weave extra cloth for trade, their looms busier. As Book of Han records, you're there, May's hands aching, her cloth stacked, the air tense with duty. Military drafts took husbands, leaving women like May to tend fields, their strength tested. As Henin annals note, Confucian ideals, emphasized by Wu, praised filial daughters, but offered little status. As 2nd century BC texts show, These pressures, born in silence, made their work a quiet act of resilience, their efforts a fragile spark. Nature and hardship tested their endurance. Floods along the Yangtze ruined crops, forcing May to ration meals. As Hubei records lament, "You're there, the pot thin, her children's eyes hungry, the air heavy with loss, plagues, like a 2nd century BC outbreak in Shandong, claimed kin, leaving women to mourn. As Han Shu warns, bandits stole woven goods, their raids a constant fear. As Henan chronicles note, these trials, faced with quiet resolve, gave their labor a somber weight, their care a hard-won gift. Community relied on their strength. Women shared tasks. Shandong neighbors wove together, their looms a chorus. As Jiangsu textile finds show, "You're there, the threads tight, their voices warm, the air alive with unity." Midwives taught young women birthing rites, their knowledge vital. As Hubei inscriptions note, during festivals, women prepared offerings, their rice cakes sacred. As Shandong reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in labor, strengthened villages, their women a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys. Lunar New Year saw, may share millet sweets with children, their laughter bright. As Shandong records note, "You're there, the sweet sticky, her smile soft, the air festive with firecrackers. A well-woven cloth might earn praise at market, her pride glowing." As Henan inscriptions show, yet scarcity lingered. A poor harvest meant no treats. As Guangzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their care a gentle melody. Mysteries marked their world. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a woven cloth with an unknown pattern, its maker lost. As journals note, "You're there, the fabric soft, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered." Tales in records of the grand historian speak of women blessed by spirits, their weaves divine. A Shandong clay jar etched with cryptic symbols hints at a lost women's ritual, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their craft, gave women's lives an air of mystery, their work a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han women's weaving and caregiving shape modern Chinese traditions. As scholars note, "You're there, a loom humming, a mother's voice soft, the air vibrant with history." UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve their textiles, their stories vivid. Han village women, from Shandong's huts to Guangzhong's fields, wove strength into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village builders, where labor carved homes, their work a quiet foundation. Han village builders in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Builders in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guangzhong and Shandong, were the quiet architects of community, their hands shaping the homes, granaries, and altars that anchored rural life. In hamlets near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these craftsmen, carpenters, masons, and laborers worked with wood, clay, and thatch, their creations sheltering families and harvests under the empire's demands. Their labor, often pressed by taxes and corvée duties, left traces in village ruins and tombs. Their skill, a testament to resilience as you settle into the night's calm. Picture a builder in a village clearing, his hammer striking wood, a clay wall rising, the air heavy with dust and effort. Han village builders were the empire's quiet foundation, their work a whisper of stability. Let's drift into their world, where labor met craft, and every structure told a story. Builders were essential to village life, their skills shaping survival. In a Guangzhong hamlet, a carpenter like Gao might frame a thatched hut, his axe sharp. As 2nd century BC archaeological finds note, you're there, the wood splintering, his hand steady, the air cool with sawdust. In Shandong, masons shaped clay bricks for granaries, their trowels smoothing walls. As Henan tomb reliefs show, laborers dug irrigation ditches, their shovels biting earth. As Hubei inscriptions hint, these builders, humble yet vital, crafted the village's bones, their work a quiet thread in the empire's fabric, as Han Shu suggests. Their tools were simple, their craft precise. Carpenters used bronze axes and chisels, their blades worn by oak. As Luoyang's Han era finds confirm, you're there, the chisel scraping, Gao's breath heavy, the air thick with wood shavings. Masons mixed clay with straw, their kilns firing bricks. As Shandong excavations show, laborers wielded bamboo shovels, their ditches channeling river water. As Fan Shanghai Shu notes, these tools, crude but effective, built homes and fields, their simplicity a testament to ingenuity under the empire's constraints. Their work served community and empire. Huts housed families, their thatch roofs tight against rain. As Jiangsu village ruins note, you're there, the roof secure, a family's fire glowing, the air warm with shelter. Granaries stored rice for taxes, their walls sturdy. As Henan inscriptions show, altars built for ancestor rites stood in courtyards, their clay sacred. As Book of Rites describes, these structures, practical yet enduring, tied villages to the empire, their builders a quiet force in its prosperity. The empire's demands pressed hard. Emperor Wu's corvée laws, post 136 BC, forced builders like Gao to repair canals, leaving homes unfinished. As Book of Han records, you're there, his tools idle, the canal muddy, the air tense with duty. Taxes took timber, making wood scarce. As Shandong annals lament, military drafts pulled young laborers, leaving elders to build. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, these burdens, born in silence, made their work a quiet act of endurance, their structures a fragile spark. Nature tested their skill. Floods along the Yangtze eroded walls, forcing Gao to rebuild with wet clay. As Hubei records note, you're there, the mud heavy, his hands aching, the air damp with rain. Earthquakes cracked granaries, their repairs urgent. As Henan chronicles warn, storms tore thatch roofs, leaving families exposed. As Shandong tales lament, these challenges, faced with resolve, gave their work a somber weight, their buildings a hard-won gift. Community sustained their efforts. Neighbors helped Gao raise beams, their hands joined. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, you're there, the wood lifting, their voices low, the air alive with unity. Women mixed clay for bricks, their labor vital. As Hubei tomb finds show, elders shared building techniques, their wisdom guiding. As Han Shu hints, these bonds, forged in labor, strengthened villages, their builders a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys, a finished home brought gao, a farmer's rice wine, shared by a hearth. As Shandong records note, you're there, the cup warm, his smile faint, the air festive. Festivals saw builders craft altars, their work admired, as Henan reliefs depict, yet scarcity lingered. A poor harvest meant no payment. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their craft a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their work. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a wooden beam with an unknown carving, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the wood cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of spirits blessing homes, their protection sought by builders. A Shandong brick, etched with cryptic symbols, hints at a lost ritual, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their craft, gave builders' lives an air of mystery, their work a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Hand-building techniques, like rammed earth, shape modern Chinese architecture. As scholars note, you're there, a village standing, a builder's hammer still, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's Han ruins, preserve their structures, their stories vivid. Han village builders, from Guanzhong's clearings to Shandong's fields, carved stability into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village traders, where commerce connected worlds, their journeys a quiet adventure. Han village traders in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Traders in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong were the quiet connectors of worlds, their journeys linking rural hamlets to the bustling Silk Road and the empire's heart. In settlements near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these merchants bartered rice, silk, and pottery, their carts creaking through dusty paths to markets in Chang'an or distant lands. Their lives, shaped by trade and tempered by the empire's demands, left traces in market finds and caravan tales, their ventures a testament to resilience. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a trader in a village market, his cart laden with silk, his voice calling softly, the air heavy with dust and opportunity. Han village traders were the empire's quiet wanderers, their commerce a whisper of connection. Let's drift into their world, where barter met adventure, and every trade told a story. Traders were the lifeblood of village economies, their wares bridging needs. In a Shandong hamlet, a trader like Feng might offer rice for salt, his scales balancing carefully. As 2nd century BC market inscriptions note, you're there, the grain spilling, his hands steady, the air warm with morning bustle. In Guanzhong, merchants traded silk bolts, their patterns prized in Chang'an. As hand shoe records show, some ventured to Silk Road outposts, carrying pottery to Dunhuang. As Gansu tomb finds confirm, these traders, humble yet vital, wove villages into the empire's web. Their exchanges, a quiet pulse of prosperity. Their journeys were arduous, their tools simple. Traders used ox-drawn carts, their wooden wheels worn by rutted paths. As Henan archaeological finds depict, you're there, the cart creaking, Feng's cloak dusty, the air thick with earth, bamboo talus tracked goods, their notches precise. As Luoyang market relics note, donkeys carried silk to distant posts, their packs swaying. As records of the grand historian hints, these tools, rugged but reliable, sustained trade. Their simplicity, a testament to ingenuity under the empire's constraints. Their trade served both village and empire. Feng's rice-fed artisans, his salt-spiced farmers' meals. As Shandong market records show, you're there, the stall busy, a villager's nod grateful, the air alive with barter. Silk traded in Chang'an reached Parthia via the Silk Road. As 2nd century BC book of hand notes, pottery glazed in village kilns, filled imperial granaries, their taxes heavy. As Henan inscriptions confirm, these exchanges, local yet far-reaching, tied villages to the empire. Their traders a quiet force in its wealth. The empire's reach weighed on their work. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms standardized weights, easing trade, but adding oversight. As bronze scales from Luoyang show, you're there, an official checking Feng's scales, his breath tense, the air heavy with scrutiny. Taxes, often 1/10 of goods, forced traders to raise prices. As Hanshu laments, military escorts, required for Silk Road treks, delayed journeys. As Gansu annals note, these burdens, borne in silence, made trading a quiet act of endurance. Their ventures, a fragile spark. Nature and danger tested their resolve. Bandits on Shandong paths stole silk, leaving traders like Feng empty-handed. As 2nd century BC chronicles warn, you're there, the road dark, his heart racing, the air thick with fear. Sandstorms in Dunhuang, buried carts, their goods lost. As Gansu excavation logs lament, floods along the Yangtze stalled river trade, forcing detours. As Hubei records note, these trials, faced with grit, gave their journeys a somber weight, their trade a hard-won triumph. Community sustained their efforts. Villagers supplied Feng with rice or cloth, their trust mutual. As Jiangsu market finds note, you're there, the barter swift, their voices warm, the air alive with camaraderie. Women wove silk for his cart, their looms vital. As Shandong tomb textiles show, elders advised on safe routes, their wisdom guiding. As Hanshu hints, these bonds, forged in trade, strengthened villages. Their traders, a shared hope against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys. A successful trade might earn Feng a farmer's millet cake, shared under lantern light. As Henan records note, you're there, the cake warm, his smile soft, the air festive, markets brought tales of distant lands, their stories thrilling, as Shandong inscriptions show, yet scarcity lingered, a failed trade meant hunger. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their journeys meaning, their trade a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their paths. A 2nd century BC Dunhuang dig found a trader's tally with an unknown symbol, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the bamboo cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of spirits guarding caravans, their blessings sought. A Henan coin etched with cryptic marks hints at a lost trade deal, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their ventures, gave traders' lives an air of mystery, their journeys a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Hand trade practices, like Silk Road routes, shape modern commerce. As scholars note, you're there, a market thriving, a trader's call soft, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Gansu's Han relics, preserve their wares, their stories vivid. Han village traders, from Shandong's stalls to Dunhuang's paths, wove connection into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village scribes, where words preserved wisdom, their ink a quiet legacy. Han village scribes in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD, scribes in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet keepers of wisdom, their brushes inking the records that bound communities and empire. In hamlets near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these scholars, often trained in Confucian texts, wrote tax ledgers, family genealogies, and ritual prayers, their work preserving village life amid imperial demands. Their days, spent in lamplit huts or market squares, blended duty with reverence, leaving traces in bamboo slips and stone carvings. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a scribe in a village hut, his brush gliding on bamboo, the air heavy with ink and silence. Han village scribes were the empire's quiet chroniclers, their words a whisper of memory. Let's drift into their world, where ink met duty, and every script told a story. Scribes were the village's memory, their work essential, yet understated. In a Shandong hamlet, a scribe like Wen might record rice taxes, his bamboo slips neat. As 2nd century BC finds note, you're there, the brush scratching, his hands steady, the air cool with dawn. In Guanzhong, scribes penned ancestor rites, their words guiding festivals. As Book of Rites hints, some taught children Confucian sayings, their scrolls worn. As Henan inscriptions show, these scribes, learned but humble, preserved village order, their ink a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. As Han Shu suggests, their tools were simple, their craft precise. Scribes used bamboo brushes and inkstones, grinding charcoal ink. As Luoyang archaeological finds confirm, you're there, the ink pooling, Wen's fingers stained, the air thick with its scent. Bamboo slips, tied with hemp, held tax lists, their notches careful. As Shandong relics note, stone tablets, carved for graves, bore family names. As Hubei inscriptions show, these tools, modest but vital, captured village life. Their precision, a testament to skill under the empire's gaze. Their work served both village and empire. Wen's tax records ensured farmers paid their share, their rice reaching Chang'an. As Book of Han records, you're there, the slip stacked, a farmer's nod tense, the air heavy with duty, genealogies traced lineage, strengthening clan bonds. As Jiangsu tomb finds note, ritual texts, written for kingdoming, guided prayers. As records of the grand historian hints, these scripts, local yet imperial, tied villages to the dynasty. Their scribes a quiet force in its order. The empire's demands pressed hard. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms required detailed ledgers, burdening scribes with extra work. As Hanshu notes, you're there, Wen's lamp burning late, his eyes weary, the air tense with deadlines. Imperial audits checked records, errors risking punishment. As Henan annals warn, military drafts took young scribes, leaving elders like Wen to teach. As 2nd century BC inscriptions lament, these pressures, born in silence, made scribing a quiet act of endurance. Their words, a fragile spark. Nature and hardship tested their craft. Floods along the Yangtze soaked bamboo slips, forcing Wen to rewrite. As Hubei records note, you're there, the slips damp, his hands trembling, the air heavy with loss. Fires in Shandong villages burned scrolls, their wisdom lost. As Book of Han laments, bandits stoling stones, their raids a constant fear. As Henan chronicles note, these trials, faced with resolve, gave their work a somber weight, their records a hard-won gift. Community relied on their skill. Farmers sought Wen to draft petitions, their trust absolute. As Shandong inscriptions note, you're there, his brush swift, a villager's hope soft, the air warm with gratitude. Elders consulted scribes for ritual texts, their prayers precise. As Hubei tomb finds show during festivals, scribes read Confucian verses, their voices uniting villagers. As Jiangsu reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in ink, strengthened communities. Their scribes, a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys a well-written scroll might earn when a farmer's rice wine, shared by a hearth. As Henan records note, you're there, the cup warm, his smile faint, the air festive, teaching a child to write brought pride. Their characters shaky, but eager. As Shandong inscriptions show, yet scarcity lingered, a poor harvest meant no ink. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their craft a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their work. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bamboo slip with an unknown script, its purpose lost. As journals note, you're there, the slip fragile, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of scribes guided by dreams, their words divine. A Henan tablet etched with cryptic verses, hints at a lost ritual, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas tied to their craft, gave scribes' lives an air of mystery, their words a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures, hand record-keeping shaped Chinese bureaucracy. As scholars note, you're there, a scroll open, a scribe's brush still, the air vibrant with history, UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve their slips, their stories vivid. Han village scribes, from Shandong's huts to Guanzhong's squares, wove memory into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village farmers, where toil fed a dynasty, their labor a quiet endurance. Han village farmers in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Farmers in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet backbone of the empire. Their toil in rice fields and millet patches, sustaining families, and the imperial granaries in hamlets near Luoyang or by the Wai River. These men and women plowed, planted, and harvested under skies that could bring bounty or ruin. Their lives shaped by seasons and the empire's demands, their labor marked by calloused hands and steadfast hearts, left traces in tools, tombs, and tales of resilience. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a farmer in a muddy field, his wooden plow cutting earth, the air heavy with dew and effort. Han village farmers were the empire's quiet strength, their harvests a whisper of survival. Let's drift into their world, where toil met hope, and every crop told a story. Farmers were the heart of village life, their work feeding all. In a Guanzhong hamlet, a farmer like Wai rose at dawn to plow rice fields, his ox pulling steadily. As 2nd century BC tomb tools note, you're there, the soil soft, his breath heavy, the air cool with morning mist. In Shandong, farmers sowed millet, their hands scattering seeds. As Fan Shengjai Shu describes, women helped weed, their sickles flashing. As Henan tomb reliefs show, these farmers, humble yet essential, nourished villages and empire, their labor a quiet thread in the hand's fabric. As Han Shu hints, their tools were simple, their tasks grueling. Wooden plows, tipped with iron, broke the soil, their blades worn. As Luoyang archaeological finds confirm, you're there, the plow creaking, Wai's shoulders aching, the air thick with dust. Bamboo baskets carried grain, their weave tight. As Jiangsu relics note, sickles sharpened on stones, cut stalks swiftly. As Shandong inscriptions show, these tools, crude but vital, turned earth into food, their simplicity a testament to endurance under the empire's weight. Their harvests served both village and empire. Wai's rice fed his family and filled tax carts, bound for Chang'an. As book of Han records, you're there, the cart heavy, his hands calloused, the air tense with duty. Millet from Shandong supported armies, its sacks piling high. As 2nd century BC annals note, surplus crops reached markets, traded for salt or cloth. As Henan inscriptions show, these harvests, hard-earned and shared, tied villages to the empire, their farmers a quiet force in its prosperity. The empire's demands pressed hard. Emperor Wu's taxes, post 136 BC, took a fifth of Y's rice, leaving his family lean. As Han Shu laments, "You're there," the granary official counting, Y's eyes weary, the air heavy with obligation. Corvée labor forced farmers to build canals, their fields untended. As Guanzhong records note, military drafts took sons, leaving Y to work alone. As 2nd century BC inscriptions warn, these burdens, born in silence, made farming a quiet act of resilience, their harvests a fragile spark. Nature tested their endurance. Floods along the Yangtze drowned crops, forcing Y to rebuild dikes. As Hubei records note, "You're there," the mud deep, his hands blistered, the air damp with rain. Droughts withered millet, leaving Shandong families hungry. As Book of Han warns, locusts, sweeping through Henan, devoured fields. As 2nd century BC annals lament, these trials, faced with resolve, gave their labor a somber weight, their crops a hard-won gift. Community sustained their efforts. Neighbors helped Y plant or harvest, their songs easing toil. As Shandong folk tales note, "You're there," the sickles rhythmic, their voices warm, the air alive with unity. Women shared seed stores, their baskets full. As Jiangsu tomb finds show, elders taught crop rotation, their wisdom guiding. As Fan Shengzhai Shu hints, these bonds, forged in labor, strengthened villages, their farmers, a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys. A good harvest brought a feast, with rice wine shared under starlight. As Henan records note, "You're there," the cup warm, Y's laughter soft, the air festive. Festivals like Lunar New Year saw farmers offer rice to ancestors, their prayers humble. As Shandong reliefs depict, yet scarcity lingered. A failed crop meant thin gruel. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their harvests a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their fields. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a clay jar with an unknown seed cache, its purpose lost. As journals note, "You're there," the jar cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of spirits guarding crops, their blessings sought. A Henan stone, etched with cryptic marks, hints at a lost planting rite, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their toil, gave farmers' lives an air of mystery, their labor a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Hand farming techniques, like terracing, shape modern Chinese agriculture. As scholars note, "You're there," a field green, a farmer's plow steady, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve their tools, their stories vivid. Han village farmers, from Guanzhong's paddies to Shandong's hills, fed the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now let's turn to Han village storytellers, where tales wove wisdom, their words a quiet legacy. Han village storytellers in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Storytellers in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet weavers of wisdom, their tales binding communities with lessons of ancestors, heroes, and spirits. In hamlets near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these narrators, elders, wanderers, or even children shared stories by hearths or under starlit skies, their words blending Confucian morals with folklore, their voices carrying tales of harvests and emperors, offered solace amid the empire's demands, leaving traces in inscriptions and oral traditions. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a storyteller in a village courtyard, his voice soft, a fire's glow dancing, the air heavy with wonder and warmth. Han village storytellers were the empire's quiet memory, their tales a whisper of legacy. Let's drift into their world, where words met wonder, and every story told a truth. Storytellers were the soul of village gatherings, their tales a treasure. In a Shandong hamlet, an elder like Old Lai might recount the deeds of Emperor Wu, his voice steady. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, "You're there," the fire crackling, his words vivid, the air warm with attention. In Guangzhong, children shared fables of river spirits, their voices eager. As Han Shu hints, wanderers brought tales from Chang'an, their stories of Silk Road adventures thrilling. As Henan tomb reliefs suggest, these narrators, humble yet vital, wove wisdom into village life, their tales a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. Their settings were simple, their impact profound. Storytellers spoke in courtyards, their audiences seated on mats. As Shandong archaeological finds depict, "You're there," the straw soft, Old Lai's gestures broad, the air thick with anticipation. Bamboo scrolls sometimes aided tales, their verses Confucian. As Luoyang relics note, lanterns lit evening gatherings, their glow casting shadows. As Jiangsu inscriptions show, these spaces, modest but sacred, turned stories into bonds, their simplicity a testament to the power of words under the empire's gaze. Their tales served community and culture. Old Lai's stories of filial sons reinforced Confucian values, guiding farmers' morals. As Book of Rites describes, "You're there," the lesson clear, a villager nodding, the air calm with understanding. Heroic tales of Han generals inspired courage, their battles vivid. As records of the grand historian notes, folk tales of spirits warned against greed, their lessons shared in markets. As Henan inscriptions show, these stories, local yet universal, tied villages to the empire, their tellers a quiet force in its harmony. The empire's reach shaped their craft. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms, promoting Confucian tales, urged storytellers to emphasize duty. As Han Shu records, "You're there," Old Lai choosing his words, an official listening, the air tense with expectation. Censorship loomed tales critical of the throne risked punishment. As Shandong annals warn, military drafts took young tellers, leaving elders to speak. As 2nd century BC inscriptions lament, these pressures, born in silence, made storytelling a quiet act of resilience, their tales a fragile spark. Nature and hardship tested their voices. Floods along the Yangtze silenced gatherings, forcing old Lai to speak in damp huts. As Hubei records note, "You're there," the rain pattering, his voice steady, the air heavy with damp. Famines shrank audiences as hungry villagers toiled. As Henan annals lament, bandits disrupted evening tales, their threats scattering listeners. As Shandong chronicles warn, these trials, faced with resolve, gave their stories a somber weight, their words a hard-won gift. Community sustained their craft. Families gathered to hear old Lai, their rice shared. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, "You're there," the meal simple, their faces wrapped, the air warm with unity. Children learned tales, their voices practicing. As Hubei tomb finds show, women wove mats for story circles, their hands vital. As Shandong reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in narrative, strengthened villages, their storytellers, a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys. A captivated audience might gift old Lai a millet cake, shared by the fire. As Henan records note, "You're there," the cake warm, his smile faint, the air festive. Festivals like Lunar New Year saw storytellers shine, their tales of ancestors cherished. As Shandong reliefs show, yet scarcity lingered. A poor harvest meant no gatherings. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their craft meaning, their tales a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their stories. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bamboo scroll with an unknown tale, its teller lost. As journals note, "You're there," the scroll fragile, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of storytellers blessed by spirits, their words divine. A Henan stone etched with cryptic verses hints at a lost fable, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their craft, gave storytellers' lives an air of mystery, their tales a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han storytelling traditions shape modern Chinese folklore. As scholars note, "You're there," a courtyard alive, a teller's voice soft, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO protected sites, like Henan's hand relics, preserve their scrolls, their stories vivid. Han village storytellers, from Shandong's fires to Guanzhong's stars, wove wisdom into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now, let's turn to Han village priests, where rituals blessed communities, their prayers a quiet sanctity. Han village priests in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Priests in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet guardians of spiritual life. Their rituals binding communities to ancestors and celestial forces. In hamlets near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these men and women, elders, shamans, or Confucian-trained ritualists, led prayers, offered sacrifices, and sought blessings. Their work steeped in tradition and Confucian ideals. Their presence, humble yet sacred, brought solace amid the empire's demands and nature's trials, leaving traces in altars and inscriptions. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a priest in a village grove, his incense curling, a soft chant rising, the air heavy with reverence and earth. Han village priests were the empire's quiet sanctifiers, their rituals a whisper of harmony. Let's drift into their world, where faith met duty, and every prayer told a story. Priests were the soul of village spirituality, their rites essential. In a Shandong hamlet, a priest like Old Chen might offer rice to ancestors at a clay altar, his hands steady. As 2nd century BC tomb finds note, you're there, the incense faint, his voice low, the air warm with devotion. In Guangzhong, women shamans chanted for rain, their dances graceful. As Han Shu hints, Confucian priests recited Book of Rites verses, guiding festivals. As Henan inscriptions show, these figures, revered yet humble, wove faith into village life, their rituals a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. Their tools were simple, their ceremonies profound. Priests used clay vessels for offerings, their surfaces etched with clouds. As Luoyang archaeological finds confirm, you're there, the vessel cool, Chen's hands careful, the air thick with incense. Bamboo tablets bore prayers, their characters precise. As Shandong relics note, altars built of earth or wood stood in groves, their simplicity sacred. As Jiangsu inscriptions show, these tools, modest but vital, channeled divine favor, their use a testament to devotion under the empire's gaze. Their rituals served community and cosmos. Chen's ancestor rites during kingdoming ensured blessings, uniting families. As Book of Rites describes, you're there, the altar glowing, villagers kneeling, the air calm with reverence. Rain prayers in Henan eased droughts, their chants fervent. As records of the grand historian notes, festival rites, like Lunar New Year, honored heaven, their offerings rice and wine. As Hubei reliefs depict, these ceremonies, local yet sacred, tied villages to the empire's spiritual order, their priests a quiet force in its harmony. The empire's reach shaped their duties. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms, emphasizing Confucian rites, standardized prayers, urging priests like Chen to align with imperial texts. As Han Shu records, you're there, his scroll open, an official listening, the air tense with expectation. Taxes reduced offerings, forcing simpler rites. As Shandong annals lament, military drafts took young priests, leaving elders to lead. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, these pressures, born in silence, made rituals a quiet act of resilience, their prayers a fragile spark. Nature tested their faith. Floods along the Yangtze washed away altars, forcing Chen to rebuild with clay. As Hubei records note, you're there, the mud heavy, his hands trembling, the air damp with resolve. Droughts sparked urgent prayers, their failure blamed on spirits. As Henan chronicles warn, storms disrupted festivals, scattering offerings. As Shandong tales lament, these trials, faced with steadfast hearts, gave their rituals a somber weight, their prayers a hard-won gift. Community relied on their guidance. Farmers sought Chen for blessings before planting, their trust absolute. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, you're there, his chant soft, a farmer's hope rising, the air warm with faith. Women shamans taught rituals to daughters, their knowledge vital. As Hubei tomb finds show during festivals, priests led chants, uniting villagers. As Shandong reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in reverence, strengthened communities. Their priests, a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys, a successful reign. Right might earn Chen a farmer's millet cake, shared by a grove. As Henan records note, you're there, the cake warm, his smile faint, the air festive. Festivals saw priests honored, their altars adorned. As Shandong inscriptions show, yet scarcity lingered, a poor harvest meant no offerings. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their duties meaning, their rituals a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their rites. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a clay tablet with an unknown prayer. Its words faded. As journals note, you're there, the tablet cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales and records of the grand historian speak of priests seeing spirits, their visions guiding rites. A Henan altar etched with cryptic symbols hints at a lost ceremony, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their faith, gave priests' lives an air of mystery, their prayers a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han rituals, like ancestor worship, shape modern Chinese traditions. As scholars note, you're there, an altar glowing, a priest's chant soft, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's Han relics, preserve their altars, their stories vivid. Han village priests, from Shandong's groves to Guanzhong's fields, wove sanctity into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now, let's turn to Han village warriors, where courage defended communities, their valor a quiet shield. Han village warriors in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Warriors in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet protectors of their communities. Their courage shielding hamlets from bandits and imperial foes. In settlements near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these men farmers by day, defenders by need, trained with spears and bows, their skills honed to guard fields and families under the empire's call. Their lives, marked by duty and sacrifice, left traces in weapons, tombs, and tales of valor. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a warrior in a village clearing, his spear glinting, his stance steady, the air heavy with dust and resolve. Han village warriors were the empire's quiet shield, their bravery a whisper of strength. Let's drift into their world, where duty met courage, and every stand told a story. Warriors were the guardians of village safety, their role vital, yet humble. In a Shandong hamlet, a farmer like Qiang might drill with a bronze spear, his hands calloused from both plow and weapon. As 2nd century BC tomb finds note, you're there, the spear heavy, his breath steady, the air cool with dawn. In Guanzhong, archers practiced with bamboo bows, their arrows sharp As Henan relics show, some, trained in Confucian duty, saw protection as honor. As Han Shu hints, these warriors, ordinary yet steadfast, defended villages, their courage a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. Their training was simple, their skills honed by need. Warriors used bronze-tipped spears and iron swords, their edges sharpened on stones. As Luoyang archaeological finds confirm, you're there, the blade glinting, Qiang's hands firm, the air thick with effort, bamboo shields, light but sturdy, blocked blows. As Shandong tomb reliefs note, training grounds, often village fields, echoed with drills, their shouts faint. As Jiangsu inscriptions show, these tools, modest but effective, prepared warriors for defense. Their simplicity a testament to grit under the empire's gaze. Their duties served both village and empire. Qiang patrolled paths, guarding against bandits, his watch keeping markets safe. As Henan records note, you're there, the night still, his steps cautious, the air tense with vigilance. Imperial drafts called warriors to fight Xingnu. Their battles in the by 121 BC, aiding Emperor Wu. As records of the grand historian describes, village militias repaired walls, their labor vital. As Shandong inscriptions show, these efforts, local yet imperial, tied warriors to the empire, their valor a quiet force in its strength. The empire's demands weighed heavily. Wu's military campaigns, post 136 BC, drafted Qiang for months, leaving fields untended. As Book of Han records, you're there, his armor heavy, his family waiting, the air heavy with duty. Taxes took grain meant for warriors' families. As Guanzhong annals lament, harsh training camps, enforced by imperial officers, tested endurance. As 2nd century BC inscriptions warn, these burdens, born in silence, made their duty a quiet act of resilience, their courage a fragile spark. Nature and danger tested their resolve. Floods along the Yangtze ruined training grounds, forcing Qiang to drill in mud. As Hubei records note, you're there, the earth slick, his stance faltering, the air damp with rain. Bandit raids, frequent in Shandong, bloodied warriors, their fights fierce. As Han Shu warns, Xingnu attacks on northern villages left scars, their losses mourned. As Henan chronicles lament, these trials, faced with unwavering hearts, gave their valor a somber weight, their defense a hard-won gift. Community relied on their protection. Farmers trusted Qiang to guard harvests, their gratitude shown in shared meals. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, you're there, his spear leaning, a villager's nod warm, the air alive with trust. Women wove cloaks for warriors, their threads tight. As Shandong tomb finds show, elders blessed their patrols with prayers, their chants Confucian. As Hubei reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in defense, strengthened villages, their warriors a shared refuge against peril. Their lives held quiet joys. A successful patrol might earn Qiang a farmer's rice wine, shared by a fire. As Henan records note, you're there, the cup warm, his smile faint, the air festive. Festivals saw warriors honored, their tales sung. as Shandong inscriptions show. Yet danger lingered. A failed defense meant shame. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their duty meaning, their valor a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their lives. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bronze sword with an unknown engraving, its owner lost. As journals note, you're there, the blade cool, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of warriors blessed by spirits, their battles divine. A Henan shield etched with cryptic symbols hints at a lost vow, its meaning debated. As reports show, these enigmas, tied to their courage, gave warriors' lives an air of mystery, their valor a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han military traditions, like militia drills, shape modern Chinese heritage. As scholars note, you're there, a village safe, a warrior's spear still. The air vibrant with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's Han relics, preserve their weapons, their stories vivid. Han village warriors, from Shandong's paths to Guanzhong's fields, guarded the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now, let's turn to Han village markets, where trade bound communities, their bustle, a quiet vitality. Han village teachers in the Han Dynasty, from 206 BC to 220 AD. Teachers in villages along the Yellow River, the Yangtze, or regions like Guanzhong and Shandong, were the quiet cultivators of wisdom, their lessons shaping young minds with Confucian values and practical skills. In hamlets near Luoyang or by the Wai River, these educators, often elders, scribes, or Confucian scholars, taught children in modest courtyards or thatched huts, their words sowing the seeds of duty, literacy, and tradition. Their work, vital yet humble, sustained communities under the empire's demands, leaving traces in bamboo scrolls and village tales. As you settle into the night's calm, picture a teacher in a village courtyard, his scroll open, children reciting softly, the air heavy with ink and learning. Han village teachers were the empire's quiet guides, their lessons a whisper of knowledge. Let's drift into their world, where teaching met devotion, and every word told a story. Teachers were the cornerstone of village learning, their role essential, yet understated. In a Shandong hamlet, a teacher like Master Shen might guide children through Confucius Analects, his voice steady. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, you're there, the scroll crisp, their voices small, the air cool with morning dew. In Guanzhong, elders taught farming techniques, their lessons practical. As Fan Shengzhai Shu hints, some women instructed girls in weaving, their hands patient. As Henan tomb reliefs show, these teachers, learned but humble, nurtured village minds, their lessons a quiet thread in the empire's fabric. As Han Shu suggests, their classrooms were simple, their methods disciplined. Teachers used bamboo slips for texts, their characters inked with care. As Luoyang archaeological finds confirm, you're there, the brush scratching, Shen's eyes focused, the air thick with concentration. Lessons in courtyards, shaded by willows, echoed with recitations, As Shandong relics note, clay tablets, etched with numbers, taught arithmetic. As Jiangsu inscriptions show, these spaces, modest but vital, fostered learning. Their simplicity, a testament to dedication under the empire's constraints. Their teachings served both village and empire. Shen's Confucian lessons instilled filial piety, shaping obedient families. As Book of Rites describes, you're there, the children chanting, their parents nodding, the air calm with respect. Literacy prepared boys for tax records, aiding imperial order. As records of the grand historian notes, practical skills like crop rotation ensured harvests. As Henan inscriptions show, these lessons, local yet imperial, tied villages to the dynasty. Their teachers a quiet force in its harmony. The empire's demands pressed hard. Emperor Wu's 136 BC reforms, promoting Confucian education, urged teachers like Shen to prepare students for imperial exams. As Han Shu records, you're there, his scroll heavy, the pressure mounting, the air tense with expectation. Taxes reduced families' ability to send children to learn. As Shandong annals lament, military drafts took young teachers, leaving elders to instruct. As 2nd century BC inscriptions note, these burdens, born in silence, made teaching a quiet act of resilience. Their lessons a fragile spark. Nature and hardship tested their efforts. Floods along the Yangtze soaked scrolls, forcing Shen to dry them carefully. As Hubei records note, you're there, the bamboo damp, his hands gentle, the air heavy with loss. Famines kept children in fields, emptying classrooms. As Henan chronicles warn, bandits stole inkstones, disrupting lessons. As Shandong tales lament, these trials, faced with resolve, gave their teaching a somber weight, their knowledge a hard-won gift. Community relied on their guidance. Farmers sought Shen for advice on children's learning, their trust deep. As Jiangsu inscriptions note, you're there, his words clear, a parent's hope rising, the air warm with gratitude. Mothers shared weaving lessons, their skills complementing Shen's. As Hubei tomb finds show, during festivals, teachers led recitations, uniting villagers. As Shandong reliefs depict, these bonds, forged in learning, strengthened communities. Their teachers, a shared refuge against hardship. Their lives held quiet joys. A student's mastery of a text might earn Shen a farmer's rice wine, shared by a hearth. As Henan records note, you're there, the cup warm, his smile faint, the air festive. Festivals saw teachers honored, their verses chanted. As Shandong inscriptions show, yet scarcity lingered. A poor harvest meant no ink. As Guanzhong annals lament, these moments, fleeting but cherished, gave their labor meaning, their lessons a gentle rhythm. Mysteries marked their teachings. A 2nd century BC Luoyang dig found a bamboo slip with an unknown lesson, its teacher lost. As journals note, you're there, the slip fragile, the air thick with questions, the riddle unanswered. Tales in records of the grand historian speak of teachers guided by dreams, their lessons divine. A Henan tablet etched with cryptic characters, hints at a lost teaching. its meaning debated, as reports show. These enigmas, tied to their craft, gave teachers' lives an air of mystery, their wisdom a quiet puzzle. Their legacy endures. Han educational practices, like Confucian schooling, shape modern Chinese values. As scholars note, you're there, a courtyard alive, a teacher's voice soft, the air vibrant with history. UNESCO-protected sites, like Henan's Han relics, preserve their scrolls, their stories vivid. Han village teachers, from Shandong's willows to Guanzhong's huts, sowed wisdom into the empire's heart, their echoes whispering in the earth. Now, let's turn to Han village weavers, where threads wove community, their craft a quiet artistry,